Hi, I'm Francesco Garripoli, and I welcome you to the Breathing Deep course here at Community Awake. I'm glad you took the course. I'm glad you made the step to get into this journey. I hope you've clicked on curriculum so you can see all the various lessons in this course. We spent a lot of time putting this together. Special thanks to Jeanette Richards in Canada, one of our certified Qigong instructors, who her and her husband Serge spend hours and hours going through our library of guided meditations that I've put together over many years around the world in classes and trainings. And we've pulled together some of the best programs that talk about breath, because breath is like the elephant in the room. In Qigong and meditation practice, it's the one thing that is the key to deepening your Qigong practice, even your yoga practice and your meditation, yet we don't always put that focus on the breath. We give it basic attention. We talk about abdominal breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, but I'd like to, in this introduction, remind you to go into these lessons in sequence. They're put there in a particular order to give you a contextual framework through the ancestral history of breathing and the importance of breath in the shamanic world and the Qigong world, meditation world, how breathing is such a key part, such a key first step on that journey. And then we go into talking about the exhale. What's the importance of the exhale? How that can really trigger, we call our lower dantian, how that exhale activates the vagus nerve. Okay, the vagus nerve is the nerve complex in your lower quadrant of the cauldron. The vagus nerve, you'll see in the research, especially when you go to the last lesson and learn about the research that the Qigong Institute has done and researches and puts together on the website, we're starting to learn more and more about the value of the deep diaphragmatic breathing that activates the vagus nerve. By activating this nerve on the central nervous system, somehow there is a nervous impulse that goes up to the heart. There's a nerve in the heart, sinoatrial nerve. That nerve is then activated. And what it does, which is so incredible, is it builds resilience at the heart level. So by deep breathing, by squeezing your abdomen on your exhales, you are now triggering an autonomic response in your body. You're becoming part of that subconscious trigger to activate the heart. When our sinoatrial nerve in the heart is activated, the heart builds resilience. How? It increases heart rate variability. When our heart rate variability goes up, our ability to work with stress and to resolve stress and be resilient from stress goes way up. So I can't impress upon you enough in all these lessons, as you listen to these various techniques, and some of them go over many, many years of my teaching, remember the power of the deep diaphragmatic breath. And I'd like to remind you what that is. First of all, it's important to remember our inhales should always be focused on our nasal passages. So keep your mouth closed. Some of this seems so obvious, but we forget. I know people who've been practicing this for years. I see them in classes. They know it, but they will get into a cycle where they start breathing with their mouth, inhaling with their mouth. You can exhale with the mouth. That's okay. It's good to get out that last bit of carbon dioxide. But to increase our oxygen intake and to activate the nitrous oxide in the nasal passage that help to create an antiseptic effect in the sinuses, inhale through your nose with your mouth closed and exhale through your nose and your mouth if you like. I typically exhale with my nose and my mouth so I can get a full deep exhale. But the important part here is squeezing at the belly. So you can see my nice flat belly that comes from many years of squeezing, emptying out on that exhale. And this squeeze, I'd like to be emphatic about what that squeeze is. It's not a forceful tightening of the muscles. Yes, in the beginning it will feel like that. But now, when I do that squeezing in my abdominal region, all these abdominal muscles, I do tighten them, but it's a pleasurable, easy, wu-wei, effortless type of squeeze. And what I'd like you to visualize is that squeeze coming down the navel right here, your belly button, going in, the urogenital diaphragm, your perineum, coming up, and the Mingmen point in your back. This is your point right opposite of your navel on the other side. This is your life gate point, your Mingmen point. Imagine that coming in. So you have three main vectors here. You have the lower dantian umbilicus area going in, you have the Mingmen point going in, and you have the urogenital diaphragm and the perineum coming up. So you have three vectors moving to that lower dantian region. Remember, the lower dantian isn't a specific point in space. It's a high probability energy field here in this region. Here's my navel, my belly button. It's a little bit below and in this region. So when I have those three vectors going in and up, what does that leave? There's a fourth vector at the top. That's where our diaphragm is. So when these energetics come in on the squeeze, the diaphragm pushes up against the lungs and empties the lung. The lung is a yang organ, so it is an open, empty organ. Okay, so when we do that squeeze, you empty the physical lung. What happens on the physical is typically a fractal reflection of what's happening energetically. So that means when we're doing the physical squeeze and bearing down, pushing against the lungs, energetically, we're bringing our intention together to release what no longer serves us. Of course, we know carbon dioxide doesn't serve us. It is our metabolic waste. That's why we breathe it out and we breathe in oxygen. When we do this deep breathing, you learn how to make that full deep exhale, key to building your core. Those three vectors and then the opening that's created by pushing up your diaphragm against the lungs is the most efficient breath we can have. Again, inhaling through your nostrils, make that exhale through your nose and your mouth. You'll have a full release. You're also going to learn a lesson in this course called double breathing, double breath. It's an old Taoist exercise. If any of you have ever done the dragon pearl exercise, we have that double breath that comes in. Inhale, 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 hold it, and release. Inhale, hold it, inhale, hold it, and then release. That double breath. Why is that important? The double breath deepens both your exhale, but there's a bit of a holding. And people will tell me, oh, you can't hold your breath in Qigong. This is not healthy. Well, yes, it is. And the research is incredible. You'll find that again in the final video in this lesson of this course. The ancients knew intuitively that by building up our ability to withstand carbon dioxide, okay, in our bodies, that little bit of holding that breath gives us incredible resistance in the world. And now athletes, Olympic athletes are learning this, their ability to withstand holding carbon dioxide in their body is an incredible edge. Same thing for our immune system. So super oxygenate your body with that deep breathing. Learn how to visualize those vectors for the exhales and the squeezing. Let your inhale be effortless, relaxing. You see from my belly here, when I exhale, my abs come in. Those muscles come in. I bend my knees a little bit to bear down on that squeeze, draw my urogenital diaphragm up. That perineum, I visualize that perineum drawing up. From years of practice, decades of practice, it's an effortless three-way movement. So as you see my belly come in on the exhales, but on the inhales, it distends. There's a real distending of the relaxing. I'm not pushing my belly out. I'm relaxing those three vectors to allow that gentle inhale, because that's when your diaphragm drops. That's in part why your belly distends. Your big muscle, your diaphragm, is dropping, distending your belly, and then drawing that breath into your lungs. Whereas the exhale compressed your lungs. The inhale, dropping the diaphragm, opens up the bladder of the lungs, okay, and the air rushes in. Let the inhale be effortless. Let your inhale be that joyful gift-receiving experience. But let your exhale be the focused intention. Because just like life, you put your focus on what is all about being clear of letting go what no longer serves your highest good. Your breath is your mirror for that. It's a fabulous mirror for what happens in other parts of your life. And where you find yourself triggered, and I talk about this a lot in workshops, it's amazing. Somebody will say, well, I feel like I'm putting too much force into this. Or another person will say, it kind of hurts to squeeze that hard to exhale. Well, you're not squeezing hard. But if you perceive that you are, most likely it's triggering something in you. It's triggering some part of you about release. So welcome that. Welcome that observation. The breath is a whole life cycle. It's your first breath in you took as an infant. It's your last breath you exhale out before you pass from this body. One cycle of breath represents your whole life. There's nothing more important in your life than accessing your breath in an efficient and deep way. So I welcome you to go on this journey. And again, I thank you for engaging in this course. Take the lessons step by step. Take some time to be quiet. Put your headphones on, your earbuds on. Go into these meditations. Listen. Visualize these 3 vectors of the squeeze. And open yourself up to the amazing energy that is sometimes just outside of us. Not that the energy is outside of us, but our ability to allow it in our belief system is just outside our conditioned thinking. Breathing in this way is transformational because it moves us out of our habitual, conditioned way of being. Change the habit, change the beliefs, your life and what you experience will change. When that intention is clear and from the heart resonance, it will change in a beautiful way. So I wish you well on this journey. Enjoy.